Greetings! You're watching Septum Sen vs. the World. I'm Septum Sen, and I'm here with Kotobuki Jake, and we're here to stock up. We're gonna fill our collection with lovely things. I'm gonna fill that little hole in my shelf there, and then make it collapse under the weight of all the movies on it.
Hopefully not when we're sitting right in front of it.
I've had some viewing gold this week. I've watched Safety Last. I finished my Camp Blood reviews. I finished Hanasaku Iroha.
Still need to do that one.
So I've done those reviews. They're going to be pending. I've been moving.
Good deal.
Mostly those. I tried out Bob's Burgers for the first time, and also
seen bits and pieces.
Working on my Hero Academia, but I'm almost finished there. I'm one episode before they caught me up. So that's basically been my experience over the week. What have you caught up on this week?
Well, I am finally making steady progression on Boardwalk Empire. I'm halfway through season 2, and it's been really cool finally getting some of that done. Other than that, almost nothing from the collection, but still some stuff from the library. I did get to watch one of our previous previews. I did get to watch Batman and Harley Quinn. It was a disappointment. They could have done so much better, but it was pretty entertaining overall. And I love... Okay, they had 2 cameos. Swamp Thing was so aggressively wasted that it ticked me off. It was a complete wasted cameo. But Booster Gold was hilarious.
So you should take
It was hilarious.
I want to know more about that one. I've heard that there's a lot of ups and downs, and one of the downs was Harley's voice acting because it just didn't feel quite right.
It didn't feel quite right. And it's even worse because Kevin Conroy, of course, has voiced Batman for years. And Lauren Lester, who plays Nightwing, is the one who voiced Robin, Dick Grayson Robin, in the animated series. So they feel like old friends. Melissa Rauch feels like she's trying too hard to sound like Arlene Sorkin. I still don't know why they didn't just cast Arlene Sorkin, or even Tara Strong, who does a good job of making Harley her own. And instead they went with the big name.
Yeah.
And
Tara Strong's a big name. In voice acting she is.
She is. And another big name in voice acting, another character that was recast, but was recast successfully. Diane Pershing originally played Poison Ivy, but in this movie she's played by Paget Brewster. And Paget Brewster does a great job. And overall, they did pretty good. I still can't get over how stupid Floronic Man's name is. And the plot that he and Ivy have, I appreciate their motives, but their execution leaves something to be desired. And the movie just ended bad. It was a horrible ending. But although if you stay till the end of the credits, I kind of like the post-credit scene. That was kind of interesting. But anyway, it's an interesting little movie. It's a fun diversion.
I'm still waiting for you to use that phone you got and just and do some reviews of your own.
Set that up.
That would have been I think people would really be going for that.
Yeah.
I just review just random stuff I watch. The reason why I got the newest one that I've done is because I'm trying to get the NIS premium sets. They're giant, and those are the first sets I plan on moving of my collection when I do move it. And I'm glad to get those out of the way. So,
good deal.
So, but that's, I don't know if there's anything major that I'm super interested in this last week. Of course, Thor is coming out. There was something in theaters.
There's a lot of movies coming out.
I can't think of.
Well, this coming weekend or this weekend, one or the other. One of the big ones I really want to go see is Battle of the Sexes. That's supposed to be really good. It looks like it's going to be really good. And I do still want to see Mother, but I don't know if I want to pay to see it. Because from what I've heard, it's divisive is a kind word for it, from what I've heard.
It's got the Dark Tower effect to me. It's like, I really wanted to see Dark Tower. I was going to see it in theaters no matter what. Then the reviews started coming out, and
I finally got to put a hold on that.
Oh, I've got a... I actually have the Steelbook pre-ordered.
Of course you do.
And it's a series I'm saddened that they didn't do it as justice, maybe. I don't know.
Ooh.
But,
ooh, I just had a totally random thought. Open letter here to anyone that's doing media releases involving Stephen King or whatever. Because, you know, the Dark Tower, like, involves so many pieces of... What they need to do is do, like, a Steelbook tower of Stephen King stuff related to the series.
That's a great idea.
That would be awesome.
It's sort of like the Dark Shadows coffin, but a tower, and you have just, like, a stack of Blu-rays.
Yeah, and you'd have, like, the Dark Tower, The Stand, Salem's Lot, all that stuff that factors... you know. Yeah, that'd be cool.
But I still say that the way to fix Dark Tower is to go back to the books. Do that TV series that he's looking for, that he was wanting to do, and do the books, get people caught up with the series.
Make a great series.
And then
a lot of his stuff.
And then you could continue the movies as this is the aftermath of the series with that flashback. So I guess I'll start off.
All right.
So what I've got here, I'm going to do these in kind of a two run instead of doing it for three, because it's kind of boring things when you're doing the same series over and over.
Right.
But this one came out a little bit before the others, and the others came out more consecutively, which is Fate, Khalid, Liner, Prisma, Elia.
Say that 3 times fast.
One of the people posted this on the anime site for saying, "Hey, look at what I picked up from Sentai." The cover here, and I'll put this up, and he's like, "Wait, no, I still can't see it.
There you go.
There you go." And it's like, look at the jailbait, and I'm like, I don't want to see her even as that because she's a little girl. But it follows, it's a continuation or an offshoot story of the Fate series. I'm not sure whether it offshoots of Fate Unlimited Blade Works or Fate Stay Night, because those are kind of two alternate versions of the same story.
I thought it was just a third alternate, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
But, you know, it follows 2 of the characters that are in the main series, and I'm curious. Sentai had their sale on DVDs, which is still going, by the way. Some of them really good. Some of them tempting. Okay.
So tempting.
And these were actually a decent deal. I mean, they were only like 14 a piece, which is not bad for... this one's an 11 episode, but I think they're all like the 10 to 11 mark. And I finally was like, okay, I can start completing it. There are 4 seasons out of it, but only 3 of them out on DVD. So,
actually, I picked that one up even cheaper last year when they did those super cheap flash sales.
Like the $5 ones?
Yeah, it was $5.
Yeah.
Man, I wish they would do those again, though. But that Sentai sale, I was this close the other night, and I was good. I backed away. I said, I'm not going to do that. But it's so tempting. So tempting. But anyway.
Precious.
Yes, the precious. Okay, I actually this morning I purchased 5 items from the library, so that's my whole pickups for the week. But this is one that I actually saw in theaters at the local second run theater, so I got to see it pretty cheap. But I've never gotten around to getting it, and it's obviously been a minute since I saw it.
$5 was too cheap for me. It was too expensive for me.
$1 was just fine. Because, okay, another development in the past week. Apparently, my branch has slashed the DVD price to $1 per. which is even better than 2. But the first one I have this week is an animated feature from Jerry Seinfeld, of all people, called B-Movie. It's also got Renee Zellweger. And if I remember correctly, I think it had a pretty good overall cast, but I don't remember who all's in it. I don't remember the movie very well. I remember it was very cute. It was a lot of fun. It was probably aimed at a little bit of a younger audience than a lot of the animated films I've seen. Oh, sorry.
You apparently don't like it that much.
I keep dropping it. I just dropped it on food. Poor food.
It's telling you something.
But it's a fun movie. It's definitely worth $1. I'm glad I finally got it, but it's not one that I'm sure that I'll be in a huge priority to see. But it is kind of sad. I know your thoughts on the show Seinfeld. Yeah. They probably extend to the guy Seinfeld.
He pretty much plays the same character on there.
Pretty much. Yeah. But but a little nicer in this one than on this show. But I think this is like a whopping 2. You want to see him as a jerk. The other credit that I have so far logged for him is when he played himself on 30 Rock. Oh man, that was... But it's a fun movie and interesting pickup. I have some weird all around... Like, the pickups this week are random. So that's going to be fun.
See, this is not as random. Matter of fact, you're going to see a lot of Sentai on this particular pickup. You'll be seeing a lot of Sentai sprinkled about for a while. Mm-hmm. But there is one non-Sentai on this list.
Yeah.
So, remember we were talking about...
Well, 2, technically. One of those is made in Japan.
Remember we were talking about, like... but I bought it on the sale.
Yeah.
So, we were talking about the other 2 seasons. So, season 2 and season 3 of this same series. They just added, like... 2-way and then 2-way hers. Again, continuations of the Prisma Ilya series. This is all that's out right now, American release. There is a 3rd one, I think 3-way or whatever it is. 3-way. But I will be curious. I am going to be watching these eventually. I love Fate Stay Night. Mm-hmm. And I was curious about the series for a while, and I'm willing to look into it. I mean, shoot. All those together cost me less than half of Fate Zero.
Considerably less.
I'm
pretty sure you could throw the full first series and the movie in, and it would still be considerably less.
So like a $15 a piece. We got like $45 in that, and that's and the one part of that, the other one was on sale, $60. Yeah. So not quite double, but yeah.
And I am tempted to grab those just because I have part of the franchise.
Oh, yeah.
All I have the first one he showed, Fate Stay Night, and the movie on Limited Blade Works. I'm not paying Anaplex's prices for Fate Zero as much as I want to.
Or Unlimited Blade Works, the series.
Yeah, as much as I want to. Because I saw the first episode of Fate Zero, and it is
Fate
great.
Fate Zero is actually even better than the original Fate Stay Night.
But I am proud that I actually added that first series on that $5 sale. I got a copy that they added to the library, so that is very cool. My next one, for something completely different, I have a TV movie musical that's a remake of a very famous musical, and it's appropriately called The Music Man. And it stars Matthew Broderick, Kristen Chenoweth, Deborah Monk, and it has an introducing credit for Cameron Monaghan, who we spoke about last week, and features Victor Garber and Molly Shannon. I mean, that's a very interesting cast. And very interesting cast. I like Victor Garber. He shows up a lot randomly in
I saw
TV.
The original.
And
I saw the original. Of
I think I've seen the original too, but it's been a minute.
Oh yeah.
But this one got mixed reviews.
It's a cool cover.
Oh, it is kind of cool. I'm not really having fantastically high hopes for it, but it should be fun. And with that cast, it's definitely worth picking up.
I like Kristen Chenoweth.
Oh yeah. Speaking of, she was in Pushing Daisies, right?
Yes, she was.
And Glee. She was very entertaining in Glee. Yeah.
She's got a good voice. She's really good at singing. So, more Sentai.
Ah, yeah.
This is one that only intrigued me entirely because of a game that I am playing in that has a basis in this, which is Gate. Essentially, these gates open up in the real world, and these fantasy monsters and things come through, and they carry their war into the real world. So you've got army people with guns fighting dragons and stuff like that. And that's what I know about the series. That's about all we did that related to the series and the game that we're in. But it's a cool concept. It was only $20, and this is for 24 episodes. And on top of that, it's very high rated. I was surprised actually at how high rated it was. So I'm very interested in seeing where it goes. I will be curious about that one.
And this is the basic edition of one of the premium sets we talked about last week.
Oh yeah, they're pigs.
Yeah. Much less fancy looking, but still Sentai does good solid sets. So yeah.
No, it's a hefty set. You can hear it.
Does it have a bonus?
It's got some bonus stuff, but not a lot.
5 discs. Okay. Yeah. Animated okay. Yeah, because sometimes Sentai will surprise you with completely random. Like I have at least 2 series, both of which were great, by the way. Dusk Maiden of Amnesia and Crozet in a Foreign Labyrinth, that have the soundtrack discs included in the collection, and they're basic editions of the series. They just happen to have the soundtrack, which is kind of cool. It's a nice little bonus, you know. So next up, I hate to say it, I cannot swear I don't already own this movie.
Trailer Park of Terror.
You know, we had that very recently at the library. I think we still do. But that was one that was excised from my collection because I have various concerns. I had to throw some stuff away because of mold issues. And he had given me Trailer Park of Terror, which is one I never got around to watching, but I want to. But I was so close to getting it for $1, but I don't want to pay $1 for it. But this movie is one of the more acclaimed movies of its time. It won Best Picture in 1970, along with a whole bunch of other Oscars. And this is one of the great war films, according to many people. It is Patton, with George C. Scott in the title role. I think he won Best Actor for that.
There's so many different versions of that.
But this one it's screenplay and story by Francis Ford Coppola, huh? I didn't realize that.
That's a very well-rated one.
Very well-rated movie. But the reason why I'm almost sure I don't have it is that I know I checked it out once from the library, and I'm almost certain I've only watched it once. And considering it's 171 minutes, I think I'd remember if I'd seen it twice. But it is a good movie. I haven't seen it in many years, but very much. Look at that. That's a double. That's a nice set. That's definitely a worth $1. Even if it turns out I have it, I could probably sell a duplicate copy for $2 or $3 and make a profit. So that's pretty cool. Yeah,
that is pretty cool. So I was checking to see. I thought mine's actually you've got a much better edition. I swear there is a Criterion release. I could just be wrong, and of course I don't have it if it's there. So mine, one that you've actually probably own. I don't know if you own this one or not, but
of course,
Happiness,
which
is strange because I've actually I watched this a long time ago, back when I was actually very much strapped for cash. I would download series to watch all the time. And this one is sort of a magical girl series. It's nothing special, but when it went down on the lower prices, I decided, okay, I can pull the trigger now. It was one I thought was reasonably good. It's sort of like how I like Tayutama, and I got that when it fell into low prices. I think that one was on the $5 or $10 one. So to me, it was worth seeing. I enjoyed it the first time, and I'm sure I'll enjoy it the second time that I see it. So we'll see how it turns out.
Happiness was also one I was introduced to through his downloads. I actually did watch a few of those before I started getting into other venues. And Happiness stuck out in my mind. It always stuck in my mind. Because IMDb is a phenomenal resource for American and British television. But it's pretty weak when it comes to Japanese television. And Happiness, I'd have to double check and see if this has changed.
Well, they've got it right now. They've got it now.
Well, for a long time, Happiness was listed as less than 5 votes.
Yeah.
For the longest time. And so when it became available for American purchase, I was like, I'm getting that. And I probably paid more than he did, but I didn't get it full price. Oh, they finally have a rating? Yeah.
6.3.
6.3 rating, yeah. Which is about accurate. I liked it better. I'd give it more like a 7.7, 7.6. It's nothing special, but it's fun. But that show, it's kind of like, for various reasons, you know, every now and then you'll latch onto something. You're just like, I just gotta get it.
Yeah.
You know. And this one, someone turned in 2 copies, 2 sets, and one of them is all dinged up and I didn't want it. But, you know, we keep coming back to these police procedurals. And I've added a new one to my set, my collection, but I've started with season 6, and this is disappointing because I know Criminal Minds co-stars Mandy Patinkin, however you say his name, and of course this week being the 30th anniversary of Princess Bride, of course naturally the idea of picking up a show starring Inigo was like, yeah, but apparently he was only in the first couple seasons. This season, though, it does still have Joe Mantegna and Shamar Moore, who starred in the ill-fated Birds of Prey series, and Paget Brewster, who we mentioned earlier in this video tonight. So it's got a pretty interesting cast. It's a well-rated show. I'm not a huge fan on these procedurals, but as a collector of credits, they're great. Because they bring in so many guest stars. And just the main cast, like I said, is not bad either. Now I have to get the early seasons to get those Patinkin credits.
That's a cool looking, I mean, it is a cool looking cover. I'll give it.
Yeah, and this is a nice little collection too, you know, so it's, like I said, this one's in really good shape. The other one I think was season 7. It was all beat up, and I was like, I can't do it, but one day, you know.
One day.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we have to actually go non-anime sometime.
No.
So we've got The Hills Run Red.
Oh, lovely.
I have most of the Dark Castle releases when it comes to horror, and I recently decided, you know what, I'm going to look up the rest of these, get all the horror so I can have the horror releases. I deny ownership of no, they didn't produce any of those non-horror ones as far as I'm concerned. Everything is horror from them for me as far as I'm concerned. It's not Dark Castle if it's not horror. I don't know much about it. It looks interesting.
Say so.
It's sort of like a snuff horror film thing, and I'm very curious about it. Like any of these types, I like horror. This is the season for it. I mean, we're getting into October here, and hey, I'm going to be watching lots of them. One of the things that me and my wife are doing, or we're going to both pick out 15 horror films, and we're going to try and watch one a day for the entire Halloween season. So we're going to do that. I feel bad for her, but I'm sure that I'm going to be subjected to some interesting things myself. So, and of course, Halloween being on Halloween, that we'll be enjoying
Strictly
that.
films?
Yep. I mean, I'm sure we'll watch some like Great Pumpkin and some TV stuff, but
I gotta rock. This is your opportunity to make her watch Hellgirl.
And there's a Halloween one by these people that did the Claymation Christmas special that I like so much, and I'll probably want to watch that now that it's that time of year.
Good deal.
You know, you remember the California Raisins, right?
Yeah, I do.
Because you did have public access TV when you were young.
Yeah.
And,
I love the California Raisins.
They were all over that. So basically,
and that Christmas special, but I don't remember a Halloween special.
Yeah, they did They did 3 different holiday specials, and I can't remember. I know one of them's Halloween, one of them was Christmas, maybe the other one's Thanksgiving. Who knows? But I've been holding them in my holiday drawer, and I'm waiting.
Are they actually available on physical release?
Yes.
Oh, I need to look at
I'll have to show you that.
I know that Christmas one. I've watched it on YouTube a couple times in the past couple of years.
I'll show you my copy when we get done.
Good deal. Okay, so I got the last one tonight, and just like he's mixing up formats with the last one, I am too. Although in my case, I'm moving from fiction to nonfiction.
It could be a police procedural in the end.
It could be. Yeah. Some people would say so. But I've mentioned before, I have a desire to get more into documentaries and to see more. And the last year I read a fascinating, difficult, but fascinating book by Marlon James called A Brief History of 7 Killings, which was essentially a fictionalized account of Kingston, Jamaica during the era of Bob Marley. And Bob Marley was actually a character in the book called The Singer. That's what they called him. And, of course, most people have at least a passing interest in Marley and that whole scene. But I saw this and I was like, this is a great opportunity to delve a little more into it. This is a documentary simply called Marley. And apparently it features a lot of his interviews with his family, with people that knew him. Obviously, there's a lot of music in there and that kind of stuff.
Oh, wow.
And his music, it was good. It was really good music. And I think overall that was definitely worth a buck. I'm very curious about this.
Gotten that for a buck, yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, I am trying to get better about my documentary collection. So this will be a nice little addition. Yeah.
Well, that's all we've got for you for this week. We're going to continue. If you can, of course, like our videos, subscribe, and share. We want to try and build our audience, keep going. I thank all of you who have subscribed, and all of you who watch, you lurkers out there. But I am definitely looking forward to bringing you more movies, more entertainment, and hopefully more features to this channel. So stay tuned, and hopefully we will see you again. Take care.